Hey everyone, one of the more common problems people encounter with a fishing rod is the ceramic falling out of a guide, especially on the tip of the rod. So today I figured I'd show you how to replace it and how easy it is to do. There's only a few things you need. Number one, you're going to need a rod tip repair kit. You can pick these up. There's a bunch of different companies that make them. You can get them at pretty much any sporting goods store. You can order them online. They're about $5. You get 3 different sizes of guides and the glue that you'll need to put it on. You need pliers and a lighter of some kind. Anything that puts out a flame, you're good to go. The one thing is, if you have newer rods and they have like micro guides or those medium to micro size guides, they're kind of hard to find in a store setting. So you could pick up one of these tip sizers. These things are like $10, and you can take your rod tip off, put it over here, figure out what size it is, and then you can order it from a place like Mudhole and get the specific rod tip you want. So not necessary, this tip sizer, but as long as you got a lighters, a pliers, and a tip, or in this tip kit, you're good to go. All right, so the first thing we got to do is we got to remove the broken rod tip, or the one that's missing the ceramic. So we need our lighter and a pliers, and really the best way to do it is if you look at the rod tip, you can see where the frame comes down. You want to apply heat to the metal, kind of right where these little side arms come in there. You don't want to apply heat to the blank. You'll damage the graphite, but if you gently apply heat to the metal, kind of wave the lighter back and forth for a little bit, keep checking it with the pliers, but you should be able to just grab onto the tip of the rod, or tip of the guide, I should say, and pull that guide right off. So we're gonna get her heated up. Almost. You can feel it moving a little bit. Then, just like that. And it's hot. All right, so now we got the tip-top guide off. You might see a little bit of, it's kind of like a white residue. That's just old glue. I'll usually just take my fingers, rub some of that off. It should come off pretty easily. You just want kind of a nice clean surface for the new glue you're gonna apply to grab onto. So once we get that kind of cleaned up, we're gonna we got 3 options in the guide kit that we have. So we're gonna put one on, and that one feels pretty good. That one actually fits all right. Some of them are a little big, and it'll slide too much. You're okay with a little bit of space, but you don't want the whole thing where you can actually like wiggle it around. It'll take a ton of glue to hold it on there, and then also it's gonna kind of weight the tip really heavy just because of how big the guide is. So right now, we gotta take our glue, and we're just gonna apply some heat to the glue itself. You'll see it start to melt a little bit, and we're just gonna rub it on to the tip of the rod. Get that going. We got a little bit of glue on there. Now, I'm going to take the tip I want to use. There's a couple ways to do it. Some people will actually hold the tip with the pliers and apply a little heat to the tip because this glue is starting to set up. I'll usually just run a lighter back over the glue itself and then apply the rod tip on. It's kind of the same principle, works just as well. There we go. Now the thing, once you slide her on there, what I'll usually do is I'll flip the rod around and eyeball it up to make sure it's straight. You can move it once the glue settles, or once it hardens, but I'll try to get it as close to perfect as I can. And that's about it. I got that rod tip slid all the way down on there. You'll notice a bunch of excess glue that's going to get pushed out of the way by that tip guide. Just kind of let that sit, let it harden up. If I was at home in my garage or basement or whatever right now doing this repair, I'd usually just let this whole thing sit for about a day and it'd be good to go. Another note too, some people like, instead of using the glue that you're supposed to, use for doing this. Some people use super glue, which absolutely works. The only problem is once you get it on there, it's pretty hard to remove the tip if the ceramic falls out again, or you know, something else happens to your guide, it gets damaged. It's hard to remove. So I like using the glue made for rod tips. Just a little bit of heat, I can slide this on and off as often as I want. It won't fall off when I'm fishing with it, but it just makes life a little easier to change. So we waited a few hours for this glue to really set up and harden. Now all that's left to do is peel off this excess, and really all you can do is just grab it with your finger, twist it a little bit, chunk comes right off. If you have any extra excess, if you can't chip it away with your finger, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the lighter, rub it back under that blank, the tip, or run it under the rod tip, which will heat up the glue and it'll kind of melt down and slick over. But otherwise, right now I'm ready to spool up and go fishing, catch some fish. That's as simple as it is, man. 10 bucks and, you know, a few things you got laying around the house, you can have a rod tip replaced for the cost of what it would maybe take 30 bucks at a local shop that'll do it. So save a little bit of money, super easy, and it's kind of a good skill to know how to do.